Star Wars Force Unleashed 3. Chapter 2. Getting some help. The ship landed on Sado, and the crew climbed out, leaving the droid on the ship. Lillian Street led Starkiller into the town. He kept his hood up to hide himself. He was unsure if he would be taken with heart or aggression. Lillian led the two boys into a bar. The entire room was filled with aliens of all races drinking and chatting. Lillian found a small table tucked away into the corner, and they all took a seat and looked at their surroundings. So, if you're a clone, you never went to a bar before? Street stated. No, never, Starkiller said, shaking his head. Don't worry, we won't be staying too long, Lillian snapped. A big chunky purple alien with a short trunk on its face came up and snorted. Right, gorgeous, the purple alien said to Lillian. Lillian rolled her eyes in disgust. Starkiller waved his two fingers in front of the alien. You do not care about this woman, Starkiller muttered. Suddenly, the alien looked dumbfounded. I don't care about this woman, the alien repeated. You need to urinate, the Starkiller muttered. I need to urinate, the alien chimed. Then it stumbled away. Thanks, Lillian said to Starkiller. No worries, Starkiller nodded. Lillian scanned the area and finally spotted the person they were after. Then she stood up and approached him. His name was Zenki, a man with robotic legs and blonde spiky hair. Hey there, Zenki, Lillian said. Well, if it ain't the good old Lillian. How are you, girl? Zenki asked. Good, but I kinda need your help, Lillian stated. Don't you always? Zenki retorted. I need 2 lightsabers, Lillian replied. 2? Bit greedy? Zenki said with a witty grin. Not for me, dumbass, for him, Lillian said, nodding her head towards Starkiller. Zenki raised a curious eyebrow. He's a Jedi, or claims to be, I guess, Lillian shrugged. Bring round the back, sweetheart, Zenki told her. Then he stood up and walked away. Lillian walked back over to the two boys. Come on, Lillian gestured. Both Starkiller and Street both followed her out to the back and into a well-lit alleyway. Street, Zenki said with a nod. Zenki? Street sneered through his teeth. This is Starkiller, Lillian introduced. What a name. So you're the Jedi, huh? Prove it, Zenki sneered. How? Starkiller muttered. Crush something, Zenki ordered, pointing at an oil drum sitting across from them. Starkiller looked over at Lillian and Street, who both shrugged at him. Starkiller rolled his eyes, stepped forward. He closed both his eyes and focused on the oil drum. He reached out with the force and the oil drum started floating off the ground. Then suddenly it started crumpling and crunching down. The whole oil drum caved in on itself. Then Starkiller let it go and the crumpled up oil drum dropped to the floor with a loud thud. Whoa, well damn holy shade Wookiee in a snowstorm. That was awesome, Zenki cheered. He walked over to a box, opened it, and pulled out a long black tube. Then he walked over and tossed it over to Starkiller. He caught it and opened it, and a long double-ended lightsaber slid out of it. He held it in his hands, and suddenly a flash of images filled his mind. He saw one of the Starkiller clones swinging around 2 lightsabers, attacking a bunch of stormtroopers. He then shook his head, clearing the image from his mind. It's yours, man. It also splits into 2. If that helps, Zenki told him. Thank you, Starkiller said, clipping the lightsaber onto his back of the waist. The 4 of them could hear the sound of screaming filling the bar. They all ran back into the bar and found some rogue stormtroopers blasting up the place. Lillian and Street both pulled out their blasters, and they both aimed them and started firing at the stormtroopers. Lasers went back and forth between the rogue stormtroopers and the members of the bar, who were able to fight back. Tables were flipped over and used for cover. Lillian stood and fired her blaster and hit one of the stormtroopers in the chest. Street leaned over one side of the table that he was hiding behind and shot 2 blasts, hitting one of the stormtroopers in the leg and then in the stomach. We need to get out of here, Zenki barked as he hid behind a table. We? Street questioned. We need him, Street, Lillian snapped. Okay, fine. How do we get out of here then? Street barked back. Starkiller stood and pulled out his new double-ended lightsaber. Both ends ignited. He stood there and for a second everyone was stunned. Then the stormtroopers opened fire upon Starkiller. He spun the double-ended lightsaber around in a circular motion, blocking every single blast. Then he split the double-ended lightsaber into dual lightsabers. He threw one and it hit the stormtrooper in the chest. The stormtrooper called out in pain as he dropped down to his knees. Then Starkiller closed the distance between himself and the stormtroopers quickly. He swung his other lightsaber and cut a blaster clean in half, before beheading the stormtrooper who wielded it. He then flipped over the headless trooper and stabbed the next one. He pulled the lightsaber out of the trooper's chest and he slashed another one down. The last two troopers turned around and ran off, trying to escape the bar. Starkiller retrieved the lightsaber left inside of the trooper, and both lightsabers retracted. Starkiller aimed his hand out and lightning erupted from his palm. The lightning hit both stormtroopers, frying them instantly on the spot. Both of the troopers dropped to the ground and their white suits started to smoke. Starkiller put both his lightsabers back together, forming the double-ended lightsaber once again, and put it back on his waist. The aliens all climbed out of their hiding spots and started cheering. Lillian, Street, and Zenki all stood and approached Starkiller. Okay, I will admit, nicely done, Street gasped. We better get out of here, Starkiller snapped. Agreed, come on, Lilia nodded. The four of them all headed out and they climbed aboard the ship. Zenki made himself right at home and everyone stood around the holotable. Okay, so here's the plan. We need a map, which we don't have, Lillian sighed. I know a guy, old dude, used to be in some mad stuff. Apparently he used to know Mandalorians, Zenki announced. Okay, sounds good, Lillian agreed. Seriously? Street muttered under his breath with an eye roll. Seriously what? Like, what is your deal right now? Zenki snapped. Watch your tone, man, or I'll snap both your metallic legs. Street barked. Hey, both of you stop. Starkiller's the one we are helping here. Another Force user changes a lot on the table, especially in a war with what remains of the Empire. You know, the Empire who just lost. Both you shut up, will you? Or I'll leave you both here. We need a map of the galaxy and we need to find Luke Skywalker. Lillian roared. Fine, both of them muttered under their breaths. Now let's get to find this strange friend of Zenki's, Lillian ordered. Zenki and Lillian both sat in the pilot seat so the ship took off and left Sado. They flew across the galaxy and headed to a planet called Cornwell 3B in hopes to find someone who could help.
What you have just listened to is a product created by the Three Ranger Bros Studio.
Hosted by three cosplaying fathers who
happen to be massive geeks of all sorts of fandoms.
They are Mark, the Red Cornish Ranger,
Cosplay Dude 637,
and Tai Tiger.
The studio covers different types of YouTube videos, TikToks, podcasts, and live streams.
If you wish to find out who cosplays who, the YouTube channels, the TikTok accounts, and the podcasts, and all of the other social media platforms,
please go to the 3rangerbrostudios.com.